Hey there, this is Chris and I do layman tech reviews on gadgets, especially cameras and its accessories, or anything that makes my life easier as a parent of 3 young kids. Today I want to talk about the new firmware. I know I did a quick video on that new firmware for the Ricoh GR IIIX. And today I just wanted to talk about snap distance priority. What makes this camera so great as a street camera is this ability to quickly snap into focus at a certain distance. So you can preset your focus distance to 1 meter, 1.5 meters, 2.5 meters, 3.5 and also 5 meters so that you can quickly grab that shot. The other thing you need to worry about when trying to focus at a certain distance is how much depth of field do you want to get out of your shot. For most street photographers, they want to get a very deep depth of field so that most of the things in the scene would be in focus. So to do that, you need to raise your aperture to f8, f11 for an example. So that's two things you need to consider: focus distance and also the aperture. And then once you have your aperture set to get you the correct depth of field, then because of depending on the environment, you need to set your exposure correctly. There are two other things you need to worry about, which is shutter speed and also the ISO. So Ricoh makes it easy for you so that you only have to worry about the aperture, shutter and the ISO. Focusing distance for this is fixed, so you can quickly go focus to that distance, unlike other types of interchangeable lens camera where you have to move the focus ring. And if your camera is advanced enough, it has that focus scale, then you would have to adjust it. But that takes time, right? And with practice, you can probably get to that appropriate distance fast enough, but it'll still take a few seconds more. Ricoh GR, fairly fast. Now with the new snap distance priority, come let me show it to you. Alright, so this is, you can see that I am in program priority at the moment. And if you go to the menu, you have that in the first tab, you have that snap distance priority. You click on. Alright, so now you see this? To DOF3, depth of field 3, I think there are 3 settings. DOF2 and DOF1. I think DOF1, if you see it, so let's say if I set my snap distance as 2.5 meters, I can also change that to 3.5 to 5 meters. Let's talk about 2 meters, right? So 2 meters, so if I set it at 2 meters, you can see at the scale here. You see this scale, that the green section here. So it's roughly 2 meters to 3 meters, everything will be in focus if it is at DOF1. So if I change it to DOF2, by turning the wheel here, you can see that the scale raised from 2 meters to 5 meters. And then if I change to DOF3, same distance of 2 meters, you can see that it became infinity. 2 meters to infinity. Anything from 2 meters above is going to be in focus. So you can just change the depth of field priority by just turning the click wheel. But as you can see, what it does is that it automatically calculates for you the aperture. So at DOF1, the distance of 2, your aperture is at 8 and the minimum shutter speed is at 1/30. DOF2, it raised your aperture to f11. The shutter speed is the same and the ISO I think got raised. Yeah, it got raised. And depth of field 3, f becomes 16 and your ISO got raised, shutter speed is the same. So I think what it does is internally Ricoh would calculate the aperture and the ISO automatically, raising them up accordingly or stopping them down so that you can have a larger depth of field. So DOF3 would be everything in focus from 2 meters and above. So if I change this 2.5 meters, let's say 5 meters, it would calculate for you the aperture and the ISO accordingly. Pretty neat, huh? I think the only thing that you cannot, yeah, so it's pretty neat. So if I change this to shutter priority, can I still change the priority? So if I change the shutter priority, that's so weird. So if I change to shutter priority, TV, I can't change the shutter speed anymore. Because, interesting. All I can change, if I have snap focus distance priority enabled, the only thing I can change is the focusing distance and the preferred depth of field, 1, 2, or 3. Alright, now I know how it works. Well, I hope that was useful for you. Till then, take care and God bless.